What's up, spooky people? It's time for another episode of the Spooky Corner. And today, we're going to be talking about the urban legend of Screaming Jenny. Screaming Jenny. Now, this may sound like one of those crazy sex terms that you read in the Urban Dictionary. That's not what this is. This is a twisted and tragic urban legend about a woman named Jenny, whose spirit supposedly haunts the railroad tracks in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. And did I mention that her ghost is on fire? Who is this woman? How did she die? And why do they call her Screaming Jenny? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions in just a second when I tell you this absolutely insane story. You're going to want to stick around because things get crazy. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Many years ago in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, there lived a sweet but poor woman named Jenny. And Jenny's life was not going too good at all because, like I said, she was poor. Matter of fact, she was dead broke. She was so broke, in fact, that she had to live in an abandoned storage shed by the railroad tracks where all the other broke people lived. Not in the same storage shack, but you know, in the community, a bunch of storage shacks. And she had no family or friends to help her out in her situation. She was pretty much all alone. But even though Jenny was dead broke and had nothing, she still took it upon herself to help out all the other broke people around her, even if it was at her own expense and it meant that she would go without food. Now, okay, listen, I'm all for being generous and giving, but she was definitely bugging, alright? You can't just be giving to people when you don't got anything. She had to get her priorities straight. She had to get her shit together before she started playing Mother Teresa. But anyway, her life would go from really shitty to even shittier on one cold winter night. You see, because when you're living in a storage shed, you don't have any heat, so in the winter, you're definitely gonna freeze to death. And that was exactly what was happening to poor Jenny here. So in order to keep warm, she decided that she was gonna make a makeshift fireplace and make a fire. Now this night started off actually pretty good because Jenny had some food in front of her. She had a bowl of soup that she was eating in front of the fire. Now, she probably hasn't eaten in like a week and she is dogging it. Like there's no tomorrow. I guess foreshadowing there kind of isn't for her. But she's sucking the damn soup up. She got her face in there. And she's so happy and so preoccupied that she has no idea that the bottom of her dress is a little too close to the fire. And then it catches on fire. But she doesn't notice because she's licking this damn bowl clean until the flames begin to grow and grow and grow, and Jenny starts getting burned. Now she finally realizes what's going on and she starts to panic. She starts to scream. She's feeling the heat of the fire and she's trying to dump whatever's left of the soup on top of the flames to put them out, but that doesn't work at all. And Jenny is feeling the hot flames burning her skin. Screaming in pain, she runs out of the shed and decides to run up the railroad tracks to see if she can make it to the nearest train station, so in hopes that somebody would find her and put out the flames. I don't know why she didn't just stop, drop, and roll like they teach you in school, but I guess you can't think when your ass is on fire. So Jenny's running up these train tracks and now her whole dress is engulfed in flames. She's burning alive. And her movements begin to slow down as her blood-curdling screams rise in the night. So she's trying to make it to the train station as best as she can, but what she doesn't realize is that there is a train coming right her way. But the conductor of the train notices this flaming figure on the tracks and he's trying his best to honk the horn to stop the train and do anything to not hit this flaming woman, but nothing works. He can't stop the train in time. And what do you think happens next? That's right! Bam, 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 bam! Jenny gets creamed by the train. The conductor is horrified. He doesn't know what to do. He's in shock, but he finally is able to stop the train. And when he stops the train, he runs out petrified and he makes his way back And what he finds is the burning body of Jenny laid out on the ground. Now, I don't know how she's still on fire, and I don't know how she didn't like go underneath the train and get ripped up and slashed around and her guts didn't get thrown all over the place. She must have just bounced off the train somehow. And the conductor finds her still ablaze, and he finally puts her out. But by this time, poor Jenny is dead. Now Jenny's laying there looking like a burnt piece of bacon, looking like an extra crispy black burnt marshmallow, and the conductor can't do anything about it. So he picks her up, he brings her back to the train station, and the next day they pretty much just gave her a quick funeral and they buried her in an unmarked grave, and they forgot about her. Until about a month later, when another conductor was driving down the same spot where Jenny was hit, and he saw a flaming figure running down the tracks. Just like the other conductor, he didn't know what to do. He tried to stop the train, to honk the horn, to do anything, but nothing worked. And of course, he smashed right into the burning figure. Finally, he was able to stop the train, get out, and look for what he hit. But this time, this conductor didn't find a damn thing. No burning body, nothing. He's spooked, he doesn't know what to think. He knows he hit something, but he couldn't find it. So he ends up just making his way back to the train station, and he tells his station manager about what just happened. And his station manager looks at him in shock. Jaw dropped, eyes wide, oh mouth. He doesn't know what to say until he finally speaks up and tells his conductor about the woman who died running down the tracks on fire just about a month ago. And then he goes on to tell him how he believes that it has to be her ghost running down the tracks yet again. And now, until this very day, in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, they say that on the anniversary of poor Jenny's death, you can see Screaming Jenny running down the tracks, glowing on fire, screaming in pain yet again. So that is the story of Screaming Jenny. Now, they also say in Harpers Ferry that if you were to sit and watch the trains go by, you can see some of the conductors like start to really slow down when they get towards the spot where Jenny was supposedly hit all those years ago. Probably because they say some of them maybe have already seen her and they're scared, or some of them haven't seen her and they're afraid of hitting her with their train, or maybe they just want to maybe they're into spooky stuff like us and they're interested in seeing if Screaming Jenny is a real thing. But I would think it would be the opposite, right? Like, I would think that they would want to like speed past that area as quick as possible, just like, nope, see ya. But who knows? So let me know 6 feet deep below in the comment section what you think about this story. I personally think it was sick as hell. It was really cool. Although I gotta say, I wish there was like some more ghostly aspects to it, like more accounts of people seeing Screaming Jenny on the tracks. But other than that, it was cool. It was just super depressing to think, if this woman really lived, man, it was a horrible life. She was broke, homeless, she died in the worst way you can imagine, getting hit by a train and set on fire, and then her ghost is still fucking suffering. Her ghost is still on fire, running up and down the damn tracks. I mean, you can't get any worse than that. So that's all the time I got today for the Spooky Corner. Make sure that if you liked the video, you actually give it a like. If you're not already subscribed, then hit the subscribe button, and of course, come back next time for some more spooky stuff. Yeah, to that poor woman on the train tracks just about a month earlier. You fuck. That's what happens when you shoot by a window. Messing up my shot. I gotta say though, this is not the only flaming ghost I've heard of. Like, when I was going to Salem, Massachusetts as a kid, for a vacation. If you don't know what Salem is, that's where all the witch trials happen. A bunch of women got hung, and there's supposedly ghosts everywhere in Salem. I'll have to talk about that another day. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, when I was in Salem, I went on this ghost tour with my family, and they were talking about how actually across from our hotel room, I believe, if I remember this right. I was a little kid, but across from our hotel room there was this apartment building where this woman was staying all these years ago, and she basically, the same thing happened to her as Screaming Jenny, where she was sitting by the fireplace reading or doing something. Her dress caught flames, she got engulfed in the fire, she was screaming, running around, and she died and got just burnt to death, and she laid crispy on the ground. And now till this day they say that if you look out of your window and look into that apartment building, that you may be able to see her flamed up. You may be able to see her ghost running around, screaming in pain, burning alive. And that scared the hell out of me. You know, I was peeking out my window late at night to see if I saw that chick burning up.